Are you thinking about moving to Oregon and the Corvallis area is high on your list? Well, we've moved over 400 families in the Mid-Willamette Valley, and we can help you too. We reached out to our clients and friends and said, hey, if you're willing to go on camera and tell your Oregon story, we'll honor your time by donating to a local nonprofit, Jackson Street Youth Services. About 15 of our friends responded enthusiastically, so let's hear what these people have to say about their move here and their life in the area. We'll do our best to show you places on the screen when they're mentioned, and there'll be links in the description below. Hey folks, I'm Michael Preslovsky with Team K Realty out of Corvallis, Oregon, and today we're joined by Jim. I really appreciate you being here, Jim. How is your afternoon going?
Just fine so far. Nice sunny day.
And it is early January as we enjoy this nice sunny day. So I know Jim because I had the enormous privilege of getting to sell his home for him recently. He decided to make a move from the family house that he had raised his kids in into a smaller place that was, I think, a little bit easier to take care of. And Jim is being very kind and doing an interview conversation with us today about his time in Oregon. That's going to be a little bit different than some of the others. Because most of these, as you folks are seeing this, most of these are like, oh, why do we move you here? All that kind of stuff. And as Jim is just reminding me, he moved here when he was 2 or 3 years old.
3.5.
And you've lived in a lot of different parts of Oregon. So this will be a really fun opportunity to talk to Jim about his experience as an Oregonian, not just as someone who moved here, because it's not the same kind of relationship with the move that many of our other clients have had. So you moved here at 3.5, and was that to Corvallis area?
No, originally we moved to the Portland area.
Okay.
And my father went to work in Portland. We came here in 1937. And my father working in Portland, and he was a body and fender man doing automotive work. And they had heard about his work here in Corvallis. So a shop foreman from, at that time, Rickard's Garage came up and asked him to come to Corvallis. So he thought it was a good opportunity. So we did move to Corvallis at that time.
Okay. Love it. So you've lived in a number of different communities. What are some of the other communities around the state that you've gotten to call home?
Okay. In the 1950s, I was working for a consulting engineer. We were putting in dial telephone systems through the REA program. And I traveled around quite a bit, about every 3 or 4 months, a different project. And some of the little places I had lived, of course, the first one, Lake Grove, which is now part of Lake Oswego.
Gotcha.
We lived there for a short time, and we worked out of Oregon City for a while, doing telephone work, cutting over the dial for Beaver Creek and Colton. And then a little bit later, I was transferred over to Fossil, Oregon. We put in the dial telephone system over there. I was doing the engineering. I wasn't actually putting in the systems.
Okay.
But then after Fossil, went to another little place called Long Creek.
And I'm geographically challenged. So Fossil, Oregon, that's in Eastern Oregon.
It is in Eastern Oregon. It is basically south of Arlington.
Okay.
Along the Columbia River, probably 100 miles south.
And then where is Long Creek?
And Long Creek is between Pendleton and John Day.
So also in Eastern Oregon.
It's also Eastern Oregon.
So Eastern Oregon, when you get to the other side of the Cascade Mountains, that's high desert. That's a very different climate, very different region in Oregon. Yeah.
And another little place, I don't know if I mentioned Mitchell, that is between, say, Redmond and actually beyond Prineville. It'd be between Prineville and John Day again. So it's in the Ochoco Mountains, basically, in that area.
So what was it like, or what is it like getting to compare having lived in the Willamette Valley with Eastern Oregon for people who are watching our videos and don't really know the difference there?
I'm not sure I understand your question entirely, but the Willamette Valley has more activities for you.
Okay.
Here, being close to the college in Corvallis, a lot of things happening there, a lot of sports, and close to the coast. It's just a short drive to the coast if you want to go fishing or go play in the sand on the beach.
Sure.
Where in Eastern Oregon, you still have a lot of those activities like camping and fishing over there, but the weather is usually a little bit better. In the summertime, it's a little warmer.
Okay.
But in the wintertime, it's usually a little colder too.
You get a very mild version of the seasons here, but a lot of rain.
You do get more rain here, no question.
But on Eastern Oregon, hot, sunny summers, cold, snowy winters.
Basically. And
Yeah.
it's drier over there quite a bit.
So what are some of your favorite things about living here in the Mid-Valley, since you've been here for just a few days?
Actually, some of the favorite things, being close to the coast, I do like to fish.
And tell us more about the fishing scene, because I don't get out that much, so that'd be a great thing to hear about.
The coast, there's a lot of salmon fishing, a lot of different places to go out, get into the ocean if you have your own boat, or they have charter boats. Or if you have a drift boat, you can fish some of the lower rivers, the Sleds, the Outdoorsy, maybe the Nestucca,
Okay.
Siuslaw, all of these little coastal streams, all of them have good runs of salmon or steelhead. And I must say in the last few years, the fishing has slowed down a little bit, but there's still a lot of opportunity.
Nice. Would you say that's one of your favorite outdoors activities in the area?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. I've always had a drift boat, so we do fish a lot in the wintertime for steelhead.
That would be steelhead season is in the winter. Is that because that's when it rains and it flushes more nutrients?
There's a lot of water for the fish to come up the rivers. And anyway, it's a little bit different. Actually, a steelhead is just a sea-run trout, rainbow.
Okay. Gotcha. That's really fun. I've heard from other people that they really enjoy going to the coast to do that sort of thing and to go crabbing. Have you ever done that too? Do the crab pots in Newport? Or
I have, but I haven't done a lot of it, but I have done it.
Okay. Love it. And you raised your family here in Corvallis. What were some of the advantages to this particular community for raising your family?
I think, of course, education was the main thing, having the university. And we had a really good high school here, always have had. And then other things like our daughters, both of them, were interested in dancing, ballet. In fact, one daughter actually danced with the Russian ballet at one performance in Portland.
No kidding. That's an interesting example of the kind of arts and culture that I appreciate about the area.
And then, of course, sports. All of our children like sports.
Okay. So like a lot of intramural sports.
The intramural, and then AAU sports too, I guess they were. The athletic union, what they call it. Anyway, they used to have basketball leagues and things like that.
How do you find the size of Corvallis in terms of it suiting you? Because it's called a city, but to me it feels like it's a big town. Has that worked out really well for you? Is it easy to get around? Do you take advantage of public transportation? What's it been like having this size of town for you?
Are you talking when I first came here or now?
Both. You've seen it change over time more than I have, right?
When we first came here, I think the population of Corvallis was about 8,000. That was in 1937.
And now we're probably 60,000 with the students?
It's getting close to 70, I think.
Okay.
It has grown a lot, and we've seen a lot of growth over the years being here that long.
For sure.
But I don't know what else I can tell you right now.
Do you find it easy to get around? Now you're retired, so that's a different lifestyle, right? Is it still working well for you?
No, I've always had transportation myself, and I haven't used public transportation that much. When we were kids, we used to ride the bus occasionally. But now it used to cost us, I think, 7 cents or something to take a bus ride. But now I understand it's still free.
Now it's free, right?
Right.
There's a little surcharge on our water bill for some
Right.
reason for the buses, but it makes it free. You don't have to pay a fare to get on. Yeah. So that's one of the only examples in life that we can say that inflation hasn't happened. It went from 7 cents to nothing, sort of. Yeah. Do you know a lot of people that do take advantage of that kind of public infrastructure? Is that a common thing?
I don't know a lot of people, no, that do use that. I know in our neighborhood where we lived, I'd see people getting on occasionally, but a lot of them I didn't know. But I did know that the high school was only about a block and a half from us. So a lot of the bus stopped right next to our place, a half a block away. So a lot of students coming and going.
They would
on
use
the
that.
bus.
And that's why today's picture on the screen behind us of the day is one of the drone shots from when we sold your house. We've got your house at the bottom of the screen and the high school, Corvallis High School, right up above, just to give you something fun to look at other than myself or Jim. Yeah. What are some other things that you really enjoy about being in this particular community?
Like I mentioned, we're close to the coast, we're close to the mountains, and we did like to ski a lot.
Yeah.
So being here close, you're right in the middle, you might say, of Oregon. So going north, you had Mount Hood. If
Yeah.
you went east, you could go to Bachelor, Hood, that type of thing. So the ski areas weren't too far away. And
So being centrally located did provide you access to those winter sports. Okay. I don't know if you know this. I just got back from a trip with my parents and my wife to Mount Hood. We went up to Welch's, Oregon, and we stopped at the Bigfoot Museum, which has a more official name than that, and Multnomah Falls, and then Timberline Lodge.
okay.
We were tourists at Timberline Lodge, which was fun, and we're making videos about too. So when you were doing skiing and like with your kids doing skiing from the Mid-Valley, is it easy to drive to those places for a ski day or ski weekend, or you take buses to them? How did that work?
We did drive, a lot of times we'd drive up on Friday night and spend the night up there and then
Okay.
ski over the weekend.
Okay.
Then we finally bought an RV, a trailer, and I left it up there by Welch's.
Right where I just was. Okay.
And we left it right there, and then we had a place to stay. We'd go up over weekends.
Perfect.
And then for a while, we bought a pickup with a camper, and they called us ski bums because we could go any place and stay right on the lot. And we traveled not only Oregon, we'd go other areas too.
Sure. So RVing is a really big thing here. I'm from Connecticut originally. I moved here from Florida, and it seems like having an RV is very common here to go for Oregon outings, as we call them, or adventures, that sort of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Even if it's not in Oregon, what are some of the other just fun places that you feel like are accessible for people who do RVing? And if you're living in the Mid-Valley, you can have on your list to do.
Boy, you can go any direction you want to. Washington, Idaho, California. There's a lot of places for camping, if that's what you want, outing, that type of thing. And that's what we did. We'd just go in all different directions. And we did have a motorhome for a while. We traveled around with that quite a bit too.
So you did that too? Did you find that even in the wintertime, you could take RV trips and go camping? Did the weather stop you from doing that in the winter here?
Not when we'd go skiing, of course. And I always had studded tires on the car and the pickup when I was pulling the camper. And we didn't really have any trouble.
Okay.
I've been all over with that pickup and camper and never did put chains on.
Gotcha.
It wasn't a four-wheel drive, but it did have the anti-slip rear end with studded tires on it.
Okay.
You'd go any place with it.
So that's something that was new to me when I moved here from Florida, as you can imagine. And it seems like it's the sort of thing where, like, living in the valley floor, like if I'm in downtown Corvallis, even yesterday in early January as we're filming this, a car drove by and I could hear it go.
Right.
And I'm like, what is that sound? And they have studded tires.
Right.
Usually I assume it's because they probably live in the hills, something like that. Because the valley floor, we don't get too much snow right here.
No.
But that was how you had your winter set up with studded tires and you were good to go, it sounds.
No, when you go skiing, there's a limit. I don't remember exactly what the dates are now. Usually end of November, then you had to take them off, I think, about April.
So it doesn't wreck the roads.
But you could only leave them on so long, and then they would ask you to take them off if you don't really need them. And sometimes if I wasn't going skiing in the winter, I wouldn't put them on unless we had a need for them right here.
Gotcha. Do you go to the library? Is that a resource locally that you enjoy?
Yes. Oh, yes. We go there quite a bit.
Nice. I feel like we've got a really good library considering how small Corvallis is in the grand scheme of things. Are there particular programs, or do you go to speaking events, or what kind of stuff do you enjoy about the library?
We have gone to different events when they have a speaker in on particular subjects.
Okay. Is that the sort of thing that you've enjoyed taking advantage of in other places too? I know that there used to be like there's at Old World Deli once a month on Mondays and the Performing Arts Center, stuff like that. I feel like we've got a lot of like arts and culture because of the university town. Is that something that you've really engaged in?
We've gone to things up at OSU, plus the Good Samaritan Hospital occasionally will have speakers on different subjects too up there.
I didn't know that. So when Good Sam has speakers, is it like medical and health related or
It
otherwise?
is. It's the ones we've gone to have always been health related.
Nice.
They'll have different types of injuries, maybe they discuss, or diseases, that type of thing.
And hopefully how to avoid said injury. Speaking of which, though, do you feel like we've got good medical care? Is this meeting your needs being in a community this size as opposed to being in a place like Portland?
No, we have good medical facilities here. And Corvallis, I don't know what the situation is now. They have had a heart center up here, heart operations. I don't know about heart replacements, but replacing valves and things like that.
A good friend of mine just got a full valve replacement very recently.
Yeah.
So that's worked out okay. It's meeting your needs. Okay. It's interesting because you're now enjoying your retirement here. We get a lot of calls from people that are thinking about retiring here. And so that's the kind of questions they ask about. So they want to know about volunteer opportunities, outdoor recreation opportunities. Do we have good enough health care? What's the downtown like? That sort of stuff. Yeah. What advice would you have for someone who's thinking about moving here? Or for that matter, thinking about moving in some of these other areas in Oregon too. People might watch this that are thinking about moving here versus Bend, Redmond, John Day. What would your advice be for future Oregonians?
I have my own personal opinions. I've been in all but 3 of the lower 48 states.
You've been in 40, math. Yeah. A lot.
Let's say 45.
Lower 48. So 48 minus 3. 45. Yeah. Math. Okay.
But anyway, there's no place I would rather live than Oregon.
That's a pretty big endorsement.
Right.
Yeah.
No, we looked around, and when you think of the weather, other places, and some of the storms, tornadoes,
Things that we don't have
hurricanes,
like that.
things like that in different areas, and cold weather, that type of thing. But anyway, when you get in the Willamette Valley, there isn't a better place in the country as far as I'm concerned.
Nice. That's an excellent endorsement. And we like to say around here that paradise is subjective. I feel like this is my version of paradise. I feel like I found it, but we know that not everyone's got the same criteria.
Like I say, I've been here since 3.5 age.
Yeah.
I've been here quite a while.
Yeah. So what would be, for you, what would be like your version of a week in the Mid-Valley? If you, for some reason, got rehired as a telephone engineer and you had to move to Australia, but then you were getting to visit for a week, what are the things you would do? I'm guessing fishing would be on the list.
It would depend. If I were a little younger, the thing I miss more is going skiing.
Skiing? Okay.
But fishing would have to be next. Those would be the 2 main things that I could think of right offhand.
So those are some of the favorite ones for you right off the bat. Okay. All right. Excellent. Do you enjoy our downtown? Do you spend a lot of time just kind of walking around downtown, window shopping, going to farmers markets, stuff like that?
I have at different times, but anymore, I don't that much, just mainly because I'm probably getting a little bit older. Hate to say it.
Okay.
But don't get around quite as well as I used to, so I don't do a lot of those things anymore.
Okay. Do you take advantage of any of the like health and fitness clubs in the area? Is that part of your routine?
I have in the past. I'm not at this particular time, but I'm looking at getting back into that shortly. Right.
What's something, if anything, that if you were making this move all over again, that you might do differently? Or do you feel like you've just got your version of paradise right here?
Yeah, that's probably true. I don't know that I would ever want to move. I've never thought about going anyplace else. After I got through working for that consulting engineer, I wasn't quite through with them yet, but they wanted me to go to California for a while and do some jobs down there. And at that time, I didn't really want to leave this area, leave Oregon. So I also had an opportunity to go to Idaho, and I still thought I'd rather stay here.
So you did actually, in more recently, since you were here in your adult life, really get to make that as a conscious decision. as opposed to just having been moved here when you were younger. Yeah. Okay. Love it. Okay. One of the questions that people often ask us about is what the cost of living is like. And as people who are watching these videos are going to hear me say, I'm not trying to lead the witness or anything. That's not my intent here. I feel like we've got like pretty reasonable cost of living for most things, but our housing is a little bit more expensive than other areas. What's your feel for that based on your experience, though?
I have to say one thing. Benton County might be a little higher than the other counties.
Yeah.
I'm sure you're aware of that too. But other than that, statewide is probably not too bad.
Okay. Do you feel like you get what you pay for, though? Do you get a good lifestyle for that? Are you okay with that as opposed to being resentful of it being a little bit more here?
No, I don't think so. No, I think it's fine. Like I say, there wasn't any place else I wanted to live, and if it costs you a little more, maybe it's worth it. But it isn't that much. I don't.
Okay. That makes sense. Yeah. All right. I don't know. What else is on your minds that you just love about the Mid-Valley and Oregon in general that would be fun for other people to hear about if they're thinking about if this is the right place for them?
I think we've gone over probably a lot of it. For me, it's a hunting, fishing, and skiing, being close, and things like that. Now, depends on a person individually what they like. Maybe if they don't like to fish or hunt, maybe they'd like to go to the ball games, follow the university.
Sure.
There's football, basketball, baseball, and Oregon State has won some national championships in both or all three, maybe football, but they always have good teams or have had.
Could you talk to us a little bit more about the hunting scene around here too? Because I'm naive with that. We may have talked about this before when I was getting to know you with selling your house, but maybe not. I really enjoy target archery. I spend time out at the archery ranges, but I'm just there doing target archery. I just find it very relaxing and fun. I never actually go hunting. So what's the hunting scene around here like?
I presume you're talking about deer. In this particular location, you're not going to get elk right here locally.
Regionally, you can though, right?
You can say the coast has elk. There are a few elk out by Camp Adair.
Okay.
And most of the elk hunting is probably east of the mountains.
Okay.
Over in eastern Oregon.
More of that in eastern Oregon. Okay.
But as far as the deer, and if you're an archer, I don't know what's going on now, but they used to have Benton Bowman.
Yeah.
You've heard of them? Know of them? Okay.
Yeah.
Are you a member?
I don't think I'm a member.
Okay.
I think, okay. I was a member of the Benton Bowman.
Okay.
Because I used to live close to their range in Western Philomath.
Okay.
And that's where I used to go practice shooting my bow.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I was a member
Okay.
at one time. And like you say, out there, they did have a range out there. And then there's also one over on Muddy Creek on the east side.
Okay.
And I can't remember the person's name that owned it, but he worked up at the university. He was a professor at the university.
Gotcha.
And owned property. Gary Thompson was his name.
Gotcha.
And they used to have archery meets out there, and they had a trail and had targets around different areas.
I love that. Yeah.
And they called it Sherwood Forest, actually, out there. And
yeah.
It was fun to go around that course and get to shoot at all the different targets they had. They were animals, targets.
In archery, they call that a 3D course, right? As opposed to a two-dimensional paper target. It's like these big foam animal targets. There's a few of those around. The Benton Bowman one has a good one of those. Just lately, I've been, when I do get out, going to Adair Village.
Okay.
So I've got like a parking pass for the E.E. Wilson Wildlife Range there.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So mainly deer season around here, and then elk a little bit more regionally. But
right, the elk, I know there's some over around Ekman Lake and that area over on the coast off the Outdoorsy River. And I know that up and down there are some. Up at Jewel, there's quite a few elk, but
nice.
Some of that's on game reserves too. But primarily eastern Oregon, northeastern Oregon, probably.
Gotcha. Yeah, there's a lot of outdoor opportunities just between fishing and hunting and just hiking and walking. I just think this is such a lovely area to be outside. And I feel like year round, even in the wintertime, when it's drizzling or raining, I just don't feel like it stops you from playing outside. And so again, I know paradise is subjective. I'm not trying to twist people's arm to be okay with our weather here. I just think that we have a reputation that's way worse than reality. I find it just still enjoyable year round.
If you're into bird hunting too, there's a lot of bird hunting here in the Willamette Valley. Of course, excuse me, you get ducks and geese coming from Canada, come right up the valley, and a lot of them winter right out there south of Corvallis, or even north for that matter.
That makes
And
sense.
out by the airport, a lot of hunting.
There's a really great refuge in that area too. Finley, right?
Finley.
Is
right.
it William Finley or Finley? We'll look it up.
Finley
Yeah.
Wildlife Refuge. Yeah.
It's a great place to go just for a hike or go see the migratory birds. That's a really
Right.
fun natural resource too. Yeah.
Yeah, actually, Patton's Duck Pond is right out there close to that too.
As we wrap up the conversation we're getting to have, and I really appreciate you taking the time, Jim, just always curious if there's anything else you feel like sharing just about things that you love about being in Oregon or things that are challenging too. It's all good information for people to know.
I guess the best thing here is just the fact that we have good weather, other than we do get a shower of rain once in a while.
Yeah.
But our winters are mild and the summers are comfortable. They're not really hot.
Yeah.
And the wintertime, you don't get really cold weather very often anymore. Here it is almost, the middle of January, and I think we've had a couple of days where it got down to 30 maybe. So it hasn't been cold, and you look at some of the weather reports back east, and
Oh, it's super cold back
cold
east right now.
and snow,
Yeah.
and anyway, we love it here.
I do too. And I feel like it's just such a habitable place in that regard.
Right.
The weather's not trying to kill you. Simple as that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Jim, I really appreciate you taking the time to get to be a part of this. As we've mentioned before on the channel, this mini project that we're doing, not the whole YouTube channel, but this particular project is all about conversations about living here. It's actually part of a fundraiser. I reached out to all my clients and friends. I told them that for every video that we get to make this month, we're going to make a donation to Jackson Street Youth Shelter here in downtown Corvallis. I really appreciate you just responding right away and saying, hey, I'll do this. What do you need? It means a lot. And it's going to be a really helpful resource, I know, for the people that are watching these kind of videos because they're thinking about moving here or because they just had a job change or they're thinking about coming here for school. There's so many reasons why people get to call this place home. And we like to help them make informed decisions and be a part of the team. Thank you again for doing this with us and for trusting myself and my team to help you sell your home too. It means a lot. And folks, if we can ever help you and be a resource for you, just reach out. It's easy to hop on a casual phone call or Zoom call, answer questions for you about the area before you even need to go house hunting. Simple as that. So I'm Michael Kreslowski with Team K Realty at a RE/MAX in Corvallis. That's a mouthful. And we help people buy and sell homes in the area, and we're never too busy for you. So thank you. And thank you, Jim, for being a part of this.
Thank you, Michael.
Thank you.